Great. Well, hello, everybody. I'd like to take a moment just to quickly thank the HashKey team for having us here. I always do appreciate a nice invite to one of my favorite cities on the planet, and to get the opportunity to talk to a lot of visionary people like yourselves. I think everyone here shares a pretty unified vision for a digital world, obviously coming from blockchain, where we're taking value and ownership in that digital space, and of course talking about DePIN, where we're linking it up with a little bit more of real-world infrastructure. And that leads us to a basic concept that I think we can all unite behind, which is that internet connectivity is fundamental to our digital experience. If we can't get the bits, we don't receive all of the good parts. Now, we've seen a lot of really interesting things happen this year, right? The proliferation of AI, LLMs, ChatGPT came out. I started using it for everything from emails to making recipes in the evening, all the way through to what I was going to do that weekend. Of course, we move on. We have the AR, VR revolution, which has been taking place over time. It's taken a little while, but this year, again, a major milestone when we have the monolith of consumer devices, Apple themselves launching a Vision Pro, taking us into digital worlds, blending the real world and the digital space in what we have called a metaverse. Of course, we have gaming, and more gaming. Who could stop playing these things? We've seen so much happening in the world of mobile gaming, of course, AR, VR, and now we're moving into Unreal Engine 5, photorealistic pixelation. Again, all of this stuff very heavy on data consumption. And then, of course, let's not forget wearables, IoT. I think we've talked a lot about this throughout the day. But again, more devices connecting to the internet, requiring a firm, consistent, and robust delivery of those sweet bits. So here's the question that we kind of posed to ourselves as a team. And that is access to the web broken? And I think sitting here looking at everybody, I see a lot of amazing cell phones with probably excellent uptime and LTE plans. So the answer is no, not really. But we ask, can it be better? And our take is absolutely. I would say even in my home with a great connection and a mesh network spreading throughout the entire place, every time I need to get on a Zoom call, somehow it manages to cop out and fail. When we look at the global connectivity, we can see that there's quite a spread of how accessible people really can get to the internet and to their data feeds. Obviously, all of us here are sitting on the left bracket. We're pretty solid. We're well set with 70 to 100% of the population getting smooth, reliable internet connectivity. Of course, we have this middle parameter, 60 to 70 of the population, Nigeria, Pakistan, Indonesia. And then, of course, we have the more developing world, where below 60% of the population has good connectivity to the internet. Of course, these places like Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, this is all Africa. They have proven to be amazing adopters of leapfrogging technology, taking mobile tech. And I think in crypto here, the most utilized use case has actually been USD on Tron, right? So we are seeing these people as mega adopters. We can call them mass adopters. And yet, their connectivity to the internet rather poor. So allow me to introduce Rome. Previously Metablocks, for anybody who's aware of that name. And let's talk about what this is. We've seen a lot of DePIN projects today, really taking a look of launching a network and also launching hardware units at the same time. No network without the hardware. We have a little bit of a different approach. We're looking at Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of Wi-Fi that exists out there. Now, the issue, it does not really work together. It is not enmeshed. It is independent. It is already decentralized, but not in the way that any of us are big fans of. We are looking to use blockchain technology, DePIN incentives, et cetera, to take all of these elements and build a really robust network, a mesh of all of these global Wi-Fis that anyone can access with the greatest of ease. Roam, the global decentralized Wi-Fi roaming network. Now, let's look at where we stand right now with Wi-Fi, right? It's a fragmented mess. As I mentioned, completely decentralized, but not in a good way. We have an issue with monetization. Imagine being a cafe owner. People are coming in for coffee. You're paying for that Wi-Fi, for that signal, You're not monetizing it. You're not receiving any benefits for that, except for the fact that you can probably retain your customers. Otherwise, they'll go off to Starbucks. The global kind of logo for if you need free Wi-Fi, come here. Standalone Wi-Fi coverage is very inconsistent. Generally, a space has a single Wi-Fi unit, a router. It pumps out the network. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't, right? If you're sitting close to it, your feed could be robust and fast. If you're around the corner, maybe behind a concrete pillar, not so great. Of course, it's deeply fragmented and inconvenient. You may have to do a login per location that you sit in. And if I look at my phone, I have a long list of old Wi-Fi networks that I'm retaining. And last but not least, and let's not forget it, public Wi-Fi, not secure. Everybody here in crypto is probably wary to transact or do anything substantial on a public Wi-Fi network. Now, this is sort of the bread and butter here of how we connect the dots. I want to introduce you to the concept of the open roaming framework. This is something that has come out of what is known as the Wireless Broadband Alliance, which is the official telecom standards organization, and it is backed and managed by the major telcos. This open roaming framework was created to begin to unify these Wi-Fi routers and create a larger network that is smoother experience, more robust, easier for everybody to access. You might notice here, Open Roaming Framework was developed in 21. So we've had 3 years of this thing being live without much adoption. And this is what we're looking to figure out. We can also see that Open Roaming Wi-Fi is automated, secure, and compatible with 5G cellular backhauling, which means that we have a really smooth interoperability between your LTE access and your Wi-Fi. And of course, it's huge. It's the world's largest Wi-Fi roaming alliance with 3+ million nodes. Now, let's look at how we're leveraging all of this to put together a mega mesh network of Wi-Fi. We're looking at a world full of disparate devices that want to play together but can't figure out a way. Of course, blockchain has come along and has given us the economic incentives of tokenization, as well as DPIN, which is a fantastic resource for bootstrapping a network. And we look to do two things at once here. We look to both take advantage of the existing Wi-Fi that is already out there and, kind of sitting around, maybe not being utilized to its best capacity, as well as to incentivize people to both upgrade it and contribute to a network where we get really healthy download rates, high speed, and ease of connectivity. One thing to notice here on the right is the open roaming framework that is provided by a few different identity providers. You might notice that MetaBlocks over there in the corner, the backbone of Roam, is the only one that supports a Web3 functionality. Now, let's talk a little bit about the crypto elements, or the blockchain, if you will. Roam is a DID, decentralized ID-driven Web3 user-centric network protocol on Solana. We use the blockchain in a variety of different ways. One, first and foremost, are the VCs, the verified credentials. We are able to take all of the login credentials of Wi-Fi networks and store them together in a repo or a repository where they can be accessed by users. Now, in a normal system, this might be a little dangerous. You're putting in all of your information. You do not want to get that exploited. But in a crypto network, we can protect that, and we can gate the access of those who have, access to it. Now, with the DID on Solana, each user is represented by a Web2 name and a decentralized identity, which is just a simple crypto hash like most of you are used to. Using that decentralized ID, they can log into the verified credentials, gain access to the entire network's worth of logins, and move on to simple access to robust, again, Wi-Fi. What we are also seeing is that when we begin to put these devices together, we have a very effective network that we can begin to build applications on top of. You can think of private messaging, you can think of payments, and begin to build an entire layer atop these connected Wi-Fis. Now, last but not least, every DPIN project has to have some sort of physical component. So I'd like to introduce you to our routers. Again, these are the primary way to earn rewards and participate in the network. Now, there's a couple reasons one might want to run these. First and foremost, they provide great Wi-Fi. They are up to the latest standards of Wi-Fi 6, which gives you not only amazing speeds and easy connectivity, but one of my favorite features is actually a very low power consumption. So you can actually plug these things in and power them over an Ethernet cable alone. I can tell you that in my house, I don't love the look of a router, so trying to figure out where to place them when they should really be up high to distribute the network can often be quite a stressful ordeal. And as you can see on this smaller router on the right, you can actually install these into your ceilings. They look like a carbon monoxide detector. They're very unobtrusive, very smooth, pretty cool. Now, at the same time, they're producing all of this amazing Wi-Fi. Sure, that is the end goal. But from the crypto economics incentives, they're also mining for the network. They're producing the greatest amount of points attrition that you can use for your economic rewards. So again, when we come back to a cafe that has to really distribute Wi-Fi for free, you're now able to recoup some of those costs because by powering the network, you're earning returns. And then, of course, last but not least, there's the validators to the network. So we have all of the infrastructure. We have these nodes. They need to be connected. We're assuming that not only are they distributing good, clean Wi-Fi, but that they maintain that uptime, that their liveness is healthy. And we need touch points to go check on each one of these. Through our app, and it's pretty fun. It kind of feels like Pokemon Go, I think. You can look locally as to where the Wi-Fis might be. Here we actually have where we are right now. So I pulled this screenshot earlier this morning. You can walk around town, go to any one of these network points, quickly check in, and that's going to run a health check on that network router. That means you're the validator. You go to each point, running a health check, letting the network know, is this router doing what it's supposed to do, which is supplying good, clean signal. Aside from that, we can look at this map and just assume that the thicker and denser it gets, the more you will automatically connect to these networks. Now, the core function here is really to offload a lot of the stress from the LTE. This is the mission-driven statements from the WBA, and this is one of the major goals. So by installing more of these routers in dense areas, we can actually alleviate this stress point by moving people from LTE to Wi-Fi. And with the open roaming framework, it is actually extremely seamless. I'm about to show you in 1 second. And it will be automatic. Basically, as you're adjacent to one, your phone will pick up on it. It will move you from LTE to Wi-Fi. Now, let's just take a really quick look and a breakdown as to what's going on here. Would you play my first video, please? Oh, there we go. OK, it's a little squished, but you can see that we've opened the wallet, and we're actually creating a crypto wallet here. It's very simple. It's fully embedded, so nobody needs to know too much about what's going on the Web3 side. And through open roaming, it is actually installing onto your phone a profile. We'll get there in 1 second. I went a little faster than I intended. Here you can see that a decentralized ID is being created out of the wallet. This is all on the Solana network, so it's fast and it's cheap. You can write down your seed phrases, provide a nice, easy-to-read nickname, and boom, we're in. With the app up and running, the phone will ask you to install the open roaming profile. Pretty quick and easy. This is all real time. And you'll see that we return back from the application to your settings menu. Give it 1 moment. This has a bit of a lag right here, but boom. As you can see, the MetaBlocks open roaming is at the top. It's identifying all of the router access. And once you have this loaded into your phone, that's it. Put it in your pocket. You will go from LTE to wireless automatically, anywhere that this network exists. Now that leads me to our Explorer. If you would kindly play my second video, please. Excellent. Here we have a map of the network itself. I think this is the most exciting part. You can see these purple dots. There are miners that are connected to the network. We can see quite a nice distribution across the United States of over 100,000 wireless routers that are plugged in. We're getting some nice penetration in Latin America. We've seen really interesting organic growth in Nigeria. We didn't do it, I swear. It's just happening on its own. Of course, Europe, very well populated. And now we move over to where we sit today. And you can see that this is also well distributed across APAC. That's 126,000 Wi-Fi routers that are connected as of now. We just crossed 100,000 only weeks ago. So this has been very exciting. I want you to see on this metric right here, endpoints issued. This is really people participating in the network, earning the rewards. And you can see that on December 23, we had an inflection point. Everything from there has scaled really nicely. that's when we released the ability to add your home routers and anything that you want to the network. Here we have check-in growth. This is really important to us because these are validators actually going around on the app and checking in. Again, telling the network yes or no, this router is providing the services that we expect. Lastly, we have, not lastly, but we have total app users, also up and to the right, very nice metrics. Newly added Wi-Fi, this is a little bit redundant with the minor map, but you can still see up and to the right the metrics that we're looking for. And then, of course, lastly, we have stickers issued. This is the gamified experience. You can think of these as NFTs. We have a variety of quests and ways to incentivize people to participate in this network and keep it up and running. So there you go. We are on both Apple and Android, and I would love for you guys to download this app and check in because you might find that you can participate in it here. We actually have a router in the back, and we're supplying internet right now. So by all means, give it a go. We also have a booth just outside and some people willing to take questions right here if you want to see our hardware. So thank you so much for your time, everybody, and we look forward to bringing you on Rome.